Hi guys, in this video you are going to take a look at SSH. SSH is a service which is also called secure shell, which is running by default on port 22. We are going to take a look on about SSH in Nmap, in Metasploit, and in Wireshark, etc. So let's begin this journey of learning SSH. So here first I'm just using a sunset mission from OneLab for the demonstration. So first step is to identify the IP address. Here I just identify the IP address. I'm just clearing the terminal here, which I can execute the clear command, and here is it. So now let's perform SSH scanning using Nmap. So basically, when you use Nmap space IP address, then you will be able to get information related to the service that is currently open, right? So Nmap will scan for the most common 1000 ports, and out of 1000 ports, there is 2 ports here open, which here is called FTP and SSH. So in the previous videos, we learned about FTP, FTP, Telnet, etc. So in that particular point of view, like FTP, Telnet are all unencrypted protocols, right? But here SSH is an encrypted protocol and which can be sniffed. So which all we are going to look into this video. First, let's start with some scanning purpose. Like you can just get the service version by specifying the -sv flag, right? So about Nmap, this is how you basically gather some information related to the service that we have. So we use -sv, -sc, and lots of plenty of other flags available. But most of the people use these kinds of flags, but fairly, I think a little of the people only use the scripting engines. So I don't know that you heard about scripting engines in Nmap. If you don't heard about it, then this is a great video for you. So basically, when you enter ls-l /user share nmap scripts and a pipe symbol, after that grep and space ssh, it will give you all the SSH related scripts available in the Nmap scripting engine. As you can see, ssv1.nsc. This NSE stands for the Nmap scripting engine. So this is here. There's a script here for brute forcing SSH, and plenty of other scripts available. So you can just copy a script from here in the terminal, and you can just open the browser and search your scripts, and you'll be able to get information related to that script from the Nmap page. And this is it. So this is basically the results that you were able to get by executing that command. These are the results you basically able to get. So there's plenty of like it's about 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 of Nmap scripting engines available related to SSH. So let's try to execute the second one here. So and how you can execute, like nmap -- script, and you can just specify the script that you want to execute, and after that you have to specify the target IP address. Here this is the results that I get after executing that script. It supports 2 types of authentication methods, which here is public key and password. So like that, we do have plenty of other scripts that you have to try it by yourself. If I show you everything, then you won't try, right? So you have to try. So let me show you one more thing here called brute force. So this script basically starts brute forcing the SSH service. So we can just execute this, and here it is. The brute force was started. It will try for the username and password pairs. As you can see, it will try for root, admin, and plenty of other brute force methods. So, and we have plenty of other Nmap scripting engines. This is what I'm recommending you to use it by yourself and understand the concepts. Okay, let's move on to the Metasploit framework console. You can just enter MSF console to start the Metasploit framework console. In Metasploit framework console, we can just search the service SSH by executing the command search SSH, and it will give you, as of now, I have a 168 Nmap, 168 services related to 168 modules related to SSH in this Metasploit framework console, because all of these modules is not usable for me as of now, which contains a lot of exploit modules which is used to gain access to the service using by exploiting some vulnerabilities, and some auxiliary modules to gather some information related to that particular target, and plenty of other modules here. You can see some post modules for post exploitation, and plenty of other things are available, but we personally don't want all of them. So we have to sort related to the auxiliary modules. So we can search for type colon auxiliary. It will sort only for auxiliary modules, and you can just give the name parameter SSH. Now we can see there is only 20 modules available related to auxiliary modules. So we can see a lot of auxiliary modules available related to these SSH service. And as you can see, we have SSH underscore login module, which you can use this to perform brute force or any other things. And this module is to perform enumerating the users. You can just copy a module and use the command info and that module, and it will give you the information related to that particular module. So this module uses small form packets or timing attack to enumerate users on open SSH servers. So you can just use this module, like I'm just going to use that module. So I'm just using this module and searching for options, and I here need to set the R host, which here is the target host. So I'm just opening a terminal and I'm just finding my IP address by executing the ARP command. So here it is. So you can also download the Sunset Walnut mission and perform the activities that I'm performing here in your own lab environment. So here I'm just setting the R host by specifying set G. G stands for the global variable. So you don't need to set it again and again. If you set if you use the set G command and the IP address, every time you use any other SSH modules or any other modules inside this Metasploit framework console, you don't need to set the R host again and again. So if you use the command set space IP address, then it will only set this IP address for this module only. But if you use the set G, which here stands for the global variable, which will set this R host value for all the modules that you are using inside this MSF console. So let's run this, and we just need to set the R host. Sorry, so we have to specify set G R host and run. And as you can see, you have to specify some other informations to get the results. You just need to specify the database, all users, user file, username, etc. to get some information related to that particular module. So let's try to use some other modules available here called SSH version, which will give you the version of SSH. As I mentioned before, if you once set you use the set G command, it will automatically set the R host for every module that you're using. It automatically sets. You just don't need to set it again and again. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. So I'm just running this command, and here I just get some information related to this SSH. Here I got this one, and I got some SSH service version and some other information related to SSH using that particular module. Like that, we have a plenty of Metasploit modules available related to auxiliary modules, which basically gives you much more information related to our target. As you can see, we do have a login module, which you can use this module to perform brute force attack or any other things. Like when I enter options, I can see a lot of options here. As I mentioned before, the R host was set for every module that you use inside the Metasploit framework console. In this session, it will automatically set the R host value to this. So that's why we set the global variable of R host to this particular IP address. And you can also change the R port. So remember, SSH by default runs on port 22, but it doesn't always runs on port 22. You can also configure SSH on some other ports. So if somebody configured SSH on some other ports, then you have to specify that port here as R port. Okay, and we do have stop on success. So when you make this as true, it basically stops once you get the credentials, or it will start guessing for any other credentials in that particular word list that you're specifying. You can also specify a word list which contains the password for performing brute force attack. You can also specify a username to authenticate as. So here I'm just specifying a username here. So I'm just specifying the set username, and I'm just setting the username as Sunset. And here I am going to set the user pass file and user as pass, and plenty of other modules available here. So what I'm going to do here, you can see this is brute force speed was 0 to 5, and this is at the greatest speed, which here is 5. And you do have plenty of other options to set. Here you can see pass file. You can set a file which contains the password. So I'm going to set that pass file to something called user share word list rocky.txt. So, and I'm just executing this, and it basically starts brute forcing. And as you can see, the verbose here set as false, which means that it will not make the terminal full of like what is happening in the background. It will make the terminal full of contents with what is happening in the background when you put the verbose as true. If you make this as false, what it means that it will not going to make your terminal as full. So let me demonstrate that also. As you can see, stop on success means that once it get credentials, it will stop. So when you make this as false, it will guessing for some other passwords related to that. So let me set some of these things like stop on success to true. So remember guys, you have to practice these kind of types of contents. So here I'm just using the Sunset Vulnerable Mission. You can also download the Vulnerable Mission from Sunset and practice the contents that I am demonstrating here. So anyways, so here I just set the stop on success to true, and here I'm just setting the verbose to uh, true, which means what is happening in the background is will demonstrate here. So when I enter options again, I can see all the options that I changed was shown here. As you can see, now I'm just executing the run command, and it is starting the brute force. And as you can see, it is using this sunset to this 1 2 3 4 5 6 password, sunset to some other passwords. It will try brute forcing like this. So once it get the credentials, it will stop. Okay, so I'm not going to waiting until it completes. So you just need to understand this is how it works, and there's a lot of auxiliary modules available related to SSH here. There is 20 modules available as of now. So you can I'm just stopping this. You can just search for the type exploit to search for the exploit module and name colon SSH, the service that you want. And there is 67 exploit modules available related to SSH. So if your machine is vulnerable to some kind of some kind of things, then you can use that particular module to gain access to that system by using the exploit module. So here I'm my system here, the Sunset mission, I don't think that it is vulnerable to some of these available here, so I'm just not going to use that. So this is how you gather the information related to exploit modules by specifying the command search type colon the module that you want. You can also specify the modules as auxiliary, exploit, post, and the name is a service. So you can just specify the post modules, which is you can use for post exploitation. And there is a 4 out of 5 post modules available, like 0 1 2 3 4 5 sorry 0 1 2 3 4, that means 5 of them. So anyways, I'm not going to tell you all of these things as of now. So now I'm just quitting the Metasploit framework console. Now what we can do is to perform a brute force attack, and you can see we are here using a Hydra tool and -L for specifying. So first let me clear my terminal so that you'll be able to see this properly. Hydra -L for specifying the username. Here I'm specifying the username as sunset, -p for specifying the password. Here I'm specifying the password word list here as user share word list rocky.txt. The thing that you need to remember, if you specify -L here, then you have to specify a word list which contains password. Here I'm just specifying a single username here called sunset, so I'm just specifying -l. If you specify -p here, then you can just specify a single password. But if I am specifying here as -P, so if you are specifying capital P or capital L, then you have to use a word list. If you specify here as capital L, then you have to specify here as a word list which contains plenty of usernames. Here I'm just specifying capital P for specifying a word list which contains plenty of passwords. So anyways, I'm entering SSH colon / and the IP address here is 192.168 and 29 dot, I think it's 35, I think. So let me check, let me confirm that, and it is confirmed, it's 35. Everything was set to correct. You can also enable the verbose if you want, which is really great. So let me enable the -V, capital V. If you specify the capital V, then what happens, it will give you information related to what is happening in the background, or what are the things that Hydra tool is trying in the background, and all those informations. As you can see, it is trying for sunset a username for multiple passwords, and I'm pretty sure that this is faster than what you see in the Metasploit modules. As you can see, this will scan for plenty of passwords at a second, right? As you can see, it feels that this is faster. So you can also use this module for that. Okay, so what we used in the beginning of this video is using the Nmap scripting engine to gather some information related to SSH, and we used some of the Nmap scripting engine to gather some informations, and we used some auxiliary modules inside the Metasploit framework console, and we also viewed the exploit modules available in the Metasploit framework console related to SSH. Now we are here using the Hydra tool to perform brute forcing on SSH service, and this video is completely about Pentesting SSH. And you can also in the next part, like after completing this Hydra, I will show you about another thing here called the Wireshark tool. I will use the Wireshark tool to perform the sniffing, and I will demonstrate FTP also, so that it will make you understand more than what you think. So let it run. I'm just leaving this and I'm just opening a new tab, and what I'm going to do here is to perform authentication using SSH by starting here called Wireshark. So here I'm just starting the Wireshark, and my Wireshark window was started. I'm just entering SSH username here as MSF admin. Sorry, here the username is sunset at the IP address 192.168.29.35, and I'm just entering some random passwords. So it was filed. So when I am going to stop this traffic, and when I enter SSH, as you can see, there's a lot of SSH encrypted packet. As you can see, all are encrypted. When you just right click and view the TCP stream, the contents is encrypted, and it cannot be sniffed. Unlike FTP or some other telnet, you can just sniff the contents, what is happening, using tools like Wireshark. But SSH can't be sniffed. As you can see, all the contents is here is encrypted, and the content that you'll see is in the encrypted format. So let me demonstrate FTP also, so that it will be helping for you to understand the concepts very well. So let me start this sniffing again, and I'm using FTP space the IP address here, which here is our target IP, and I'm just specifying the username as anonymous and password as anonymous. As you can see, I just logged in, and now I'm just stopping the Wireshark and searching for FTP. And as you can see, I'm just right clicking and follow. As you can see, the user was anonymous, and the password here also was anonymous. What you entered there in the terminal will be demonstrated here, right? So whatever command that you're using inside FTP will also get sniffed. So that is the purpose of using FTP and SSH. FTP is easily sniffable, and all the contents will be there in the traffic as plain text, while SSH encrypts the traffic. So that's the difference between both of these. So let me close this and to see whether the brute force was complete. As you can see, it still doesn't complete the brute force. If you specify a custom word list which contains the password, then it will which contains a little of words and which contains the password, then it will be able to crack. As of now, it will crack 779 plus words, and it contains the rocky.txt contains about 1434443 words. So it will take some time to get the password. So I'm not going to complete this. So I'm just stopping this. So this is how you use these concepts. So this is how you use these kinds of brute force attacks. So I'm just demonstrating this for your knowledge. You can see this is the command that we used. If you don't have a username, then you can specify the minus capital L and specify a word list which contains usernames. Okay, so that's all about SSH. We just used Nmap scripting engines, we just used MSF console, we just used Hydra to perform brute forcing on SSH, and we also used Wireshark to sniff the traffic in SSH, and as it is encrypted, we were not able to sniff the contents. So this is all about the SSH video as of now, and thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.